I will never, ever, ever get tired of watching that intro. How
Me
about
neither.
you? No, I don't. I don't think I will. Honestly. Hello, everyone, and welcome to what is this, Brandon? Is this live number 8? I think something like that.
Yep.
Is it 8? Yeah, I believe that's what it is. Um, we have a very special show tonight. If you have not guessed, by all of the and we just lost Brandon. He'll be back. By all of the hype that I've been putting out there for every single one of you. We have a very special guest tonight, as you can see, and that is the good Reverend Michael J.S. Carter. You've seen him a few times on Ancient Aliens, but he's also an author, an amazing individual, and a very good friend. Um, I have his full bio here somewhere. That's what I'm trying to find for you guys.
Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry
Oh,
about it.
it's impressive. Let's
Thank
just
you.
say it's very impressive. Um, but we're gonna let some more people come on in.
Mhm.
So let's go ahead, guys, get in here, and you're gonna be free to ask questions tonight. You can share your experiences. You can join us if you like to even tell your experience for a short time. We'll let you come on and tell your thing, and then we'll kick you off so you don't stay too long. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, it's going to be a great show. Joe will be with us at some point, is what I'm hearing.
Mm.
So we're just gonna, we're gonna have a good time. Um, let's go ahead and I'm going to start talking about some people who are here, acknowledging some of our good folks. We have James Boggs in the audience. We have Dr. Natalie Olson in the audience. Um,
Ooh.
we have Teresa Racer in the audience. Ike Faber, welcome, my friends. Spooky Appalachia's here with us. Still going down. Adam Good, good to see you. Dewey, and I have a few people from Facebook, guys on Facebook. Keep in mind that you have to give StreamYard permission to post on your
Mm.
behalf, or we cannot see you. If that makes sense, it's just the way that these two streaming services work. Mothman Cam's here. It says
There's
hello,
a little button like
hello,
right
children of the
above the
moth.
chat that you have to click on for the
Oh, is that what
permission.
it is? Okay, yeah. So
Yep.
do that. Click on the little button right above the chat, and we'll be able to see your name. You do want us to see your name in this one. Like I said, we are going to be giving you the opportunity to talk a bit yourself and present questions, etc. as well. So, with that said, my good friend, he's over here somewhere. I can't point right. Michael, thanks for
Yes.
coming and joining us for number 8. This is World Contact Day
Yes.
special. Yesterday was actually World Contact Day, and Brandon and Joe and myself did this massive, almost 2-hour episode on on um, on Albert K. Bender Sunday night, which will air tomorrow night.
Mm.
And wow, was it an amazing? It's just a great episode and a great individual. Another one of those incredible contactees from back in the day.
Mhm.
And man, his contribution to the field of ufology. And most people, again, they have no idea. They have no idea. But he did give us World Contact Day, and that is why you're here, my friend. Michael, welcome.
Thanks for having me, brother. And yeah, I'm glad you read out some of the names. Dr. Natalie Olson is a very talented healer and metaphysician and a good friend
Wonderful.
and a good supporter. So just want to shout out.
Awesome. Let's see. Who else do we have out there? Okay, guys, everyone that's there, just go ahead and get this shared out. Let's get this place packed really good, and let's have an incredible show. We're going to be talking about a few things tonight, and like I said, feel free ask your own questions, share your accounts. That's what tonight's for. It's kind of unscripted, it's off the cuff, and it's pretty much spontaneous. So just enjoy yourselves. And there's James Boggs. Awesome, Dr. Olson. So yes, yes. There we go. Thanks, Michael. There you go.
Hey, Natalie.
Okay, guys. For those who don't know, Michael has actually been on an episode before of Wild and Weird Radio, and that's where we met. And
That's how we met.
And man, it's just a crazy thing. I mean, the amount of things we have in common is just scary. First of all, but
Yes.
Michael, you're not just you're not just interested in this. This is the whole field basically. This is a personal thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. You and I had talked about this. Yeah, I'm an experiencer and have been for quite some time, and even to this day. And it's what got me into this. I'm down the rabbit hole now. What can I tell you? I'm a minister of a Unitarian Universalist congregation here in North Carolina. I started getting into. We were talking about Star Trek. I just started watching Star Trek like 5 years ago, but that was part. I just wasn't interested. I'm not going to blame it on religion. I just wasn't there, and but back in 1989, I started having contacts coming back from Mexico, from the pyramids in Chichen Itza and Tulum, and it kind of rocked my world, and it just went on and on and on. And I went to therapists, and Bud Hopkins, the late Bud Hopkins, we were friendly, so he had regressed me. Dr. Gene Mundy was the first person to regress me, and I pay tribute to them because they helped me hold on to my sanity.
Yeah.
And I think my experiences, I know my experiences in the long run were positive. They changed my whole life. There was a whole transformation. But I still have a hard time. I still have some post-traumatic stress. I have a hard time, like my wife is going away the next 2 weekends. But this is always, and sometimes when I'm home by myself, it gets sometimes it's hard because, they can just show up.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. And so it's hard for me to go to sleep, or I'm just kind of hyper vigilant. I don't know if you wanted me to go into detail into any of that.
But whatever you want to do, my friend. Whatever you feel comfortable sharing, you share.
Is that okay?
Because
okay.
you are literally, this is stuff we talk about all the time.
Yeah. Well, December 28th, 1989, I got back from Mexico with my girlfriend at the time. I was still living in New York City. And I want to be clear, I was already leaving the religion that I was raised with. Not that it's bad, it just wasn't working for me. I was asking questions that could not be answered or did not want to be answered. And it created more of a us, them, I'm saved, you're not. And I met people who all over the map, they were gay, they were straight, they were Catholic, they were this, they were that. And I said, what kind of God would not embrace these folk? So for me, I was already leaving. I was studying metaphysics and with the occult. That sounds so weird, but metaphysics and psychic phenomenon and existential philosophy. So I was already on a path. And the reason I say that, I don't want you to think, well, these star people just came and waved a magic wand and all of a sudden. I was already on this kind of path of peeling the onion of who I really was, what I really believed. So we came back home, landed at JFK. My girlfriend at the time, she was exhausted. And I had been invited to a party down in Hell's Kitchen in Times Square. So I went and I wanted to show off my tan. My hair was like golden and I was like this deep cop. I mean, I wanted to glow. They were freezing their butts off. I just got back from Mexico. Why not strut a little bit? Yeah. So I went, no beverages, no alcoholic beverages were consumed, but plenty of deviled eggs. Maybe that's what I love deviled eggs.
That's probably what did it, Mike.
The star people, they love deviled eggs. So anyway, uh, I don't know to this day whether I had to get up to go to the bath. I just sensed some. I woke up, and at the
Yeah.
foot of my bed was. Hold on. I'll show you. At the foot of my
They
bed
are.
was this person.
Oh.
Now, he didn't, or she, they didn't have this. Someone made this for me.
Mhm.
You know, I wanted him to be a Buddha, but this person was at the foot of my bed. And he or she was only 4 feet tall, maybe 3 feet tall, very spindly. You know, the stereotypical kind. But he wasn't. I'll say he wasn't gray. He was kind of chalk white,
Mhm.
and he had on this jumpsuit thing, looked like a turtleneck. It was tight fitting, was one piece from what I saw, and it looked like Reynolds wrap.
Okay.
And at the foot of my bed, my girlfriend either could not, she did not wake up, and so until after this was over, and I thought, you know, I've never been that scared, and so around him was this blue light, and around that light was a great white light. And, you know, I got in the fetal position. I mean, I was terrified. And I pulled the covers up over my head. And this is on the 15th floor of the Excelsior Hotel, still there in New York City on 81st Street between Columbus and Central Park West. So it wasn't some rural area like Betty and Barney Hill. You know what I mean? And so I pulled the covers up over my head and I got in the fetal position. And all of a sudden, I felt like I was outside. The temperature just plummeted. And my mind is still reeling from this. And I heard this whoosh, whoosh, and like a wind, like the wind. I finally grew a pair and I pulled the covers down. And nobody was there. I was so scared. And I remember when I wrote my last book, Initiation, I talk about it in the book. And I sent it to my girlfriend at the time, which was last year. And she said, Michael, reading your book, you talk about it. She said, it came back to me. She said, I remember I had never seen you so frightened. And she said that, and I saw these little figures in the room. And I said, you never told me that. And she said, but I just kept getting this thing like, go to sleep. Just go to sleep.
Yes.
And so every for twice a month, for about 8 months to a year, they would come and they would paralyze me. And I would feel like this electricity going through me, like this energy. And one time they wouldn't talk, but they would show me pictures in my head of, they showed me a past life, which I interpreted was me as a monk, which explains a lot because I love religion, not for what it is, but for what it could be, and sometimes is, and of a future event that actually did happen. And then I started, you know, I'm not going to get up, and I was unprofessional of me, but I want to say I have a picture of a reptilian, not the same artist made it for me. I had a healing from a Nordic person back on July 4th, 2013, of a blood clot. I have a picture, a thing of an Arcturian. I go to this artist, and whenever I meet these star people, I describe them, and she makes them for me. I mean, you know, I pay her. So, and then back in 2019, I have over there, I'm not going to get up, a statue of a praying mantis person that I had met. So that's how I got on this. And because my mind works more on a spiritual, religious bent, and sometimes they're the same thing, sometimes they aren't. You know, I have friends, they're into propulsion systems and back engineering and greater minds than mine. I don't care about that. It's important, but I wanted to know, you know, the spiritual part. Well, how do you transform with this? And then I read Barry Downing's book that he wrote in 1968. He's a dear friend of mine. He's retired Presbyterian minister, not an experiencer, but he wrote a book back in 1968 called The Bible and Flying Saucers.
Right.
And, there were other people who wrote. Morris K. Jessup wrote a book called UFOs in the Bible, died from mysterious circumstances in the 50s. That was Morris K. Jessup. I met a woman named C.L. Turnage, died much too young, from Texas. She was a disciple, kind of Zachariah Sitchin, who I met when I lived in New York. And so she was putting his stuff out there. She had a couple books out. One of them was called The Bible and Extraterrestrial Transmission. Virginia Brazington from right here in Asheville, North Carolina. So we had some more female energy in the house. She wrote a book called The Bible and Flying Saucers. And so to me, because when I want to read something, I study voraciously, it got me going. They kind of paved the way for me, ministers. And then, of course, I met Bud later on, and he regressed me. Dr. Jean Mundy was the first one who regressed me. We talked about her a little bit. I did before we got on. And it made me know I wasn't crazy because I wasn't sleeping at night. And, it was post-traumatic stress, and they kept coming. And then now I wound up in therapy for some other things, for some dysfunctional family stuff. But I went out on a limb and told the therapist about what was going on, and he didn't bat an eye.
Oh, wow.
And so these are the people who paved the way for me. I'm standing on their shoulders. So there it is.
He made it.
So anyway, brother, I can go on and on. But that's how welcome, brother. Welcome. And so that's how I got on this path. And, I wrote my master's thesis on it. And again, they could have said, you're not graduating from seminary with this dribble. But they said, yeah, write it. Tell us more. And so, Kierkegaard says life is lived forward, but it's only understood backwards. So I'm looking back and seeing, how the dots connected. And here we are.
Oh yeah, man. And wow, we have a lot of folks posting comments over here. I'm going to shoot for. You touched on so many things though. And as well as I do, the cold chill levels probably just went up all throughout the audience because anyone who has experienced anything remotely similar to that understood every word you just said.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't one of those situations. It's what a lot of people think. They think that these experience, you go out, you see aliens. It's not. Let's be frank here. First of all, we don't know what an alien is. We don't like the word. That word is pretty much used to describe something we don't, that doesn't belong here. Mm-hmm. Now, no one says they don't belong here. So, the evidence kind of points to the fact that if there's anything alien, it might be us. But they may be the actual.
They've been here before us, so.
Right. That's what I'm getting at. Right. So, but I don't think we're aliens either. I just think that if you want to use that term in a literal sense, that's not what we're dealing with. That's just speculation and my own personal views. But a lot of people think that and stereotype, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem. We have this mindset of these people who think they know what's going on. And, when the Tom starts talking about aliens, they're not really talking about what's going on.
We're talking
here.
About.
Yeah, they're not. They're really not. So it's completely different. Joe, how you doing, bud? Can you hear us?
I'm exhausted.
Can't hear him.
Get your mic.
He said he's exhausted.
So now,
wow,
Mike.
Technology.
You would think we did this a couple of times. I swear.
Yeah, I'm exhausted. It's been a long few days. But we're doing some fundraising for a kid who has a rare cancer issue and making a lot of chicken salad for some fundraiser for that. And we had to go back in. There was a huge rush of orders that came into the shop overnight, and we didn't have enough made to cover all of that. So had to go back in tonight and catch us up and get enough to get the orders out.
That's a good thing.
Thanks for showing up, man. I know.
Hey man, I wouldn't miss it for anything. I was going to come in on my cell phone if I had to.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, we're glad you're here.
Yeah, you
Glad
made it. You made it. Adam, good. I'm just going to go ahead and put some of your stuff up here that you put up. I love
Hey,
your
Adam.
churches.
Thank you.
Bud, what is it? Bud Hopkins.
Bud Hopkins.
Yes,
Fellow
Bud,
West Virginia.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It comes full circle. Yes.
Oh, Bud.
And what's really amazing is you actually, you knew Bud. I mean, that's just,
That's cool.
yeah, very cool.
Now, is that on papyrus behind you?
That's what I asked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead and show him.
I didn't realize that.
And yes, Adam, he
I
is
need
in a
to get a
loving
better frame
community.
for
You're
this.
absolutely right. And thank you for recognizing that.
Oh, boy.
Isn't that
Yeah.
cool?
That
Yeah.
was done on papyrus as well, and it's about. It was. I think it was when it was given to me. It was over 100 years old.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness.
So a friend of mine. So I used to be a regional guy with Rite Aid, and a friend of mine who was a pharmacist. He was from Egypt,
Mhm.
and so when he would go home, he would always bring stuff back for his friends.
Nice.
And
That's a
I
good
gave him
friend.
one of our little Mothman one time, and he thought that was just the craziest
That's
thing
a
ever.
good friend. Yeah. I
And
got
so he brought me back this thing, and it was actually like wrapped up and had a little piece of hemp like tie keeping it
Cordage.
Oh,
rolled.
wow. Yeah,
And
that's the real deal.
yeah, he said, I don't know what's on this one. He's like, I didn't even look, but my grandfather gave it to me and told me to get rid of it for him. And
That's
so
a nice
he's like,
gift.
I figured this would be something you were into, so I brought it. And he asked like when he had got it, and he said it was late 1800s when it was made.
Woo.
It's
Yeah.
an old one. It's an
So
old one.
and
That's really old.
it shows some like pre erosion, some earlier erosion detail, like that dates back to that same time frame for the head.
That's a gorgeous piece.
So, but yeah, I saw that hanging in the back, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool."
Yeah.
Someone
Yeah.
bought that for me as a gift. There was a woman who I used to work with. We were talking about it. I would do some energy healing, some Reiki for her when I was living in New York. She was very wealthy, and she took a liking to me. And one day after I gave her a session, she had to leave. She said, "Well, we'll go out together." And we walked down 57th Street, and she said, "Come on in here with me." And I thought she was getting something for herself as we were going to a subway. And we went in there and we looked at her. She said, "You like this?" I said, "Yeah." And she said, "It's yours." I said, "What?" And she said, "Would you please wrap that for me?" And didn't even ask how much it cost. She said, "Well, we'll take that." And she sent it to my house. And I've kept it all, lost touch with her, but kept it all this time.
Isn't that amazing?
That's awesome.
Yeah, she really, yeah. So I have her in my mind. She was a good friend.
That is so awesome. Teresa Racer, she says, hearing stories like Reverend Michael's experience really makes me wonder if these dreams I've always had are more than dreams. The familiarity is panic attack in
Yeah.
laugh out
Yeah,
loud.
yeah, you can relive it.
Yeah.
This is what I found out because these people, they know how to bend time and go. What someone told me is this: if you have a dream and they're in it, and dreams are distorted. You know what I mean? Things are. It's just distortion. But if you have a dream, like let's say you have a dream that they come in your bedroom, and everything in your dream, your bedroom is set up in your dream the same way it is in real time, then that's not a dream. That's just the way they're choosing to
That's a good point.
to contact you. I mean, they can come through your wall like they did with me. They can just appear. You can go through the wall with them. They can take you out of your body to deal with them. But I don't know what your dreams are about, and I'm not trying to decipher it. But if you're having dreams of them and you're wherever you are, and it's the same way it is in real time, then that's probably not a dream.
I think that's a fair
That
way to
even
say
calls
that,
back to
Michael.
last week's
It
recording,
does.
like how he was talking about how you can induce lucid dreaming. And the
Mhm.
way you can tell is the watch trick or shoestrings. And because something's always going to be off.
Mhm.
It's not going to be the exact way it is in reality. There's going to be something that's wrong. You'll look at your watch and look away and then look back, and 2 different times will be shown.
Right.
Or the
So,
watch disappeared. You know, it's
It's
know,
worse. I mean, I had a dream many years ago. I was trying to say, now when I see them, I want to keep the fear factor down, which is hard to do.
very hard to
And
do.
one day I had a dream that they were taking me out of my apartment. Everything was just like it was in real time. And we were kind of laughing and joking. Like they had their arms around me and I had my arm around them. And we just went out through my wall. But everything in my dream, my apartment was the same way it was in real time. And I used to, and a friend of mine said, well, that's probably very real, especially since, I wanted to bond. I didn't want to just be like, oh my God, your nervous system is flooded with adrenaline and fear. But it is something to look into for the young lady. I mean, you can always get regressed if you want to take that route. But I'd be open to the fact that you're probably being visited in your dreams.
So Deuster has a question. This is Dewey. He's the guy behind Cryptids and Critters Paranormal. And he asked, Dr. Michael, what is your take on the Roswell incident?
Well, thank you for calling me doctor, brother. But I'm Reverend. I didn't get my PhD. I'd still be paying for it now, probably paying for my education. I mean, I to me, it's almost like the balloon thing where, it's kind of like the okey doke. I believe that Roswell happened. I think many people do, and that it's. I think we're going in a circle now. I think the balloon incidents that we had a little bit before were kind of different in the way that I feel, Michael feels, that we were being tested about our reaction. What's the public going to do? Because you can see where this narrative is going. And that's another topic, and that's not what you asked about. I believe the Roswell incident is authentic. Yeah. Do I believe aliens? Yeah, I do. Because I'm not a Bigfoot expert, and I know that's not what you're asking me. But from what I understand, sometimes there's a lot of UFO sightings around where you see Bigfoot, and so I think that they are related. What I will say is this, and I think it's a good thing. More conferences are like the conference I'm going to be doing again in September. I'm loving it because you got people talking about UFOs, you got people talking about Bigfoot, you've got people, instead of us, being compartmentalized, we're not talking to each other. Because all of this stuff to me is under the same rubric. You can call it paranormal, you can call poltergeist, whatever it is. I think all of this is connected, and we need to be talking to each other as opposed to being in our corners. So that gets me excited, and I'm hearing and seeing more and more of that. Like the disciplines are starting to blend a little bit, and for me, anytime we can come together for any little reason, it could be to eat an ice cream sandwich. I think that when human beings do that, it's always a good thing.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Hope
And that's
that
why we're
helps a
friends
little
too.
bit.
So, yeah.
So Ike is asking, so Reverend Michael, when
Yeah, Ike.
they communicated with you, did you note any noticeable accent?
No, it was like perfect non-regional English. And the only time that I was spoken to was by the reptilian who I saw. And of course, it's almost biblical. Don't be afraid. Fear not, which is easy for them to say.
You're not.
But that was the only real time and it was telepathy. This person, and it was a male voice, so I'm going to call him my brother. This brother's mouth didn't move, but it was like I had stereo sound in my head. And that's not also true. There was one time where I heard a voice that it was a female voice, and they said, "Hello, Michael," and there was no reason. And I don't know whether this was a star person or whether it was just some type of entity. What they do show me, what they did were the gray people. I'm calling him gray. I showed you he was kind of not really gray. They showed me things. Like they showed me a past life where I was a monk. They showed me an incident. They showed me a future event that actually did happen. I was speaking in front of a group of people. I had a 3-piece suit on, which I did not own at that time. And then it dawned on me afterwards, this was shown me. So those when I got into healing, they showed me a pair of prayer hands. You know, you've seen the hands. There was a lightning bolt in it. As a matter of fact, I used it on my business card. There's a lightning bolt in between, and there was a little gray icon pointing. Like, don't look at me, look at that. This is what we want you to see. And that encouraged me more because I do a lot of energy healing. I call it Reiki, but it's really not Reiki. I am a Reiki master, but the energies change because every time I encounter them, it does something to me. So I don't know. I call it Reiki. I don't want to be explaining it to people, but one person did tell me that this is not Reiki energy. She said, this is from your friends. And I said, well, you know, thank you. Whatever it is, it's helping you.
That makes sense. Okay.
So the next question on deck. First, we got James Thompson. Thanks for joining us. It's his first time joining us live. We appreciate you hanging out with us, man. And Spooky Appalachia says, Reverend Michael, what do you think of the Flatwoods monster story?
I'm not familiar with that story.
You will be after tomorrow, and
you will be after tomorrow's episode.
Ron has given me some education. You know, I will say this: I'm open-minded, and look, if I can sit up here and tell you about some of the crazy stuff I just told you,
why not?
Then anything is on the table.
Yeah,
and I don't mean that in a, you know, I'm trying to be facetious. There are things that we can't explain. And we need to be, I'm talking about humankind, but we just have to be more open to, you know, their realities that, what can I say? So if I can tell you that someone walked through my wall on 2 feet, had a tail, and was a reptilian person, you know, I can believe anything.
Right?
Yeah, and I mean that, and
no, you're
I don't mean that like, you know, I'm trying to be funny.
You're right.
No, yeah, we totally get what you're saying there. That incident took place back in the 50s. It was investigated by Project Blue Book, and it was one of the ones that they had deemed to be an owl.
52, yeah.
So, you know, everybody knows how we feel about that one. We think it was one of the very first instances of contact that's like in the modern terms, so to speak.
Yeah,
it was a crash, man. I mean,
yeah,
they kind of proved this thing crashed all across the country, pretty much, right? And
yep.
And then, you know, the next night you had the Frametown incident. I mean, and then
there was just too much around it to not be something.
And you know,
so so the Bigfoot brother or sister, they got off a ship?
Well, this was a
ship.
So the young boys were out playing football and they saw this thing that they thought was a meteorite coming through the sky and crash on a hillside. And there was actually witnesses that saw this meteorite hurtling through the sky from several states away.
Oh, and coincidentally, before that happened, they were looking for a crash plane. Go ahead.
Right. They were also looking for a crashed plane. And so the boys got excited. They were wanting to go see if there was some kind of rare metals on the meteorite that could make them rich. So they went out to go look for the crash site. They took their mom and it was an uncle or a cousin. I can't remember. And they went out and they found the wreckage. The crash site, it wasn't really so much wreckage, but they found a crash site, but they also encountered a being that was very mechanical in nature.
Mm-hmm.
And they described it being more like a sentry, like something that was like watching out like a guard almost.
Mhm.
And it had eyes that were like lighting up the ground when it looked like searchlights.
Oh, wow.
It's like 15
And-
feet tall or something too. I
Yeah,
think.
15 feet
15
tall, and there
15
was like
feet
this
tall.
sulfurous gas that
Mhm.
was being emitted, and they ran from it. They got scared when they saw it. They ran from it. They were nauseated by the gas.
Mhm.
And then the very next day, the next town over, there was another sighting, but it sounded like whatever was inside that big armor suit was dressed down a bit and was just like in a the upper body was visible and it was looked very reptilian like, and the lower body was in
Oh, wow.
this
Mhm. it
like
was a
chair
machine
like machine.
that was
Yeah.
floating off the ground.
Yep, and it was floating.
Uh-huh. And
No, Spooky, I don't have a Braxy figure nearby. We actually sold the one that hung out over my head for a while.
yeah, no, I don't have one here either, but I could probably
Mhm.
find a
Oh
picture
wait,
of
I got these.
one. Oh, you got some?
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. That's pretty much it.
Wow.
It was described as having like a red domed
face,
head. And,
glowing
Yeah.
red face, green body.
But this
Yeah,
was
it
the
almost
full
looks like
armor.
an Aztec deity, kind of.
so this was like the full armored out look. This wasn't the reptilian style look. This is what they saw the first night.
Yeah.
So imagine that from the waist up being, a physical creature,
Yep.
and then the waist down was like a machine that it was kind of floating around in.
Yeah.
and-
That'll get your attention.
Yeah, and it did.
That'll get your attention.
And that, of course, as our good listeners and viewers are going to find out tomorrow's episode, is related to Mr. Bender's experience himself.
Yeah.
And you're going to be surprised. You guys are going to want to watch that episode. You're really going to watch the episode because somewhere in that episode, I actually hid something, a certain number with a certain
Uh-oh.
code. Yeah, I did. I did it again. And whoever finds that number and that code, be the first to comment it in the section. This is only for the YouTube guys, okay? So it's got to be on YouTube.
Deusker asks, from a religious standpoint, what do you think Ezekiel saw with the will within the will?
That's a good question.
Oh, wow. I love that question. I think that Ezekiel, and I think that, our ancestors back in the day, they were trying to describe in the vernacular of their day the technology that they were seeing. I think he saw a craft.
Yeah.
There's a wonderful book I'm sure some of your listeners are aware. It's called The Spaceships of Ezekiel. It's by Joseph Blumrich, the late Joseph Blumrich. He was a NASA engineer, and it's patented. I mean, it's copyrighted. You can go on Google and type in. And he took the metrics that Ezekiel talked about in the Bible, in the book of Ezekiel, and he drew this craft. And like I said, you can go Google it, and it in his estimation, this is what Ezekiel was seeing, and I think the Bible is full of those kinds of stories, where again they're trying to describe the technology, which would be godlike to them, and I think that's one of the great stories in the Bible where we have someone who's a contactee. There we go. What's interesting in the Bible is that, and I'm speaking specifically of the First Testament, what we refer to as the Old Testament, but it's the First Testament, is that, sometimes they use the words Lord. Sometimes it's with a capital L, sometimes it's with a small L, but they could be talking about the commander of the ship. If you read it, and it's not necessarily, if you believe in God, the great God of the universe. What does, the famous, meme? What does God need with a starship? But I believe that if you take the word angel and put instead, star person, off-world intelligence, not alien, I think that it'll make more sense. I think this is what the pillar of cloud by day and the pillar of fire by night is in the Exodus story. I think that thousands of years later, when Jesus comes along and he talks, he goes away on a cloud. I think that, these people weren't stupid. They know that the difference between a cloud, but there are stories
Limitations.
that have
There's
camouflage.
limitations to the language.
Yeah, camouflaging themselves in clouds. It's the pillar of cloud by day and the pillar of fire by night that the Jewish people are following. So in the daytime, it's a cloud, pillar of cloud. It's probably emitting some type of exhaust, and at night it glows. It's flying in the sky. It's moving. It's intelligent. That we would call that today a UFO or a UAP, or rose by any other name. And so here we have, and what's important about this is there's no Jewish religion until after the Exodus.
Right.
Mhm.
It's just a ragtag bunch of folks. Pharaoh was acting a fool. Good help is hard to find. They flee. He's like, no, 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 no. So, even with Islam, Gabriel, who's in the Bible and in the Quran, he has Muhammad, he says, recite, Iqra, recite. And he's writing down the Quran. Again, there's no Islamic religion until after he starts this. So who started, and I don't mean that I'm not trying to diminish these religions. And of course we have Jesus and the craft, well, the star, call it what you will. But it seems that these religions got their origins in these contact with these otherworldly beings, at least from my estimation. It doesn't take anything away from their ministries, whether it's Jesus or Moses or Muhammad, not to me, but it does bring up a lot of questions.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of questions.
Speaking of questions, James Thompson says, when do new episodes drop over here? I typically catch the shows on Amazon Music. Well, we drop live shows on YouTube every Thursday, James. You can come hang out with us. As soon as the live's over, it does a download and gets archived and pops up on YouTube's feed, so you can go back and watch the ones that you've missed. But every Thursday at 8 o'clock, we go live. And that's the live show. It's very listener driven and completely separate entity from the actual podcast show that you listen to normally.
And that drops, of course, on Fridays. Mm-hmm. Teresa, it looks like you're wanting to make some steps. She says, I need to gain the courage to finally open up fully about all this stuff that's happened, but the skeptical side of me keeps getting in the way. No, it should.
You just need to come have dinner with us one evening,
to,
Teresa.
Come sit down and talk.
Yeah, we'll have a therapy session.
Just come sit down and talk. You'd be surprised.
For real, though.
You really would. I'm not telling anyone how to believe anything. We're just listening and sharing
You'd be
stories.
surprised how many other people have had the same thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
So many, man. So many.
Pat says, Reverend Michael, what are your thoughts on the things John witnessed in Revelation in the lens of someone who has experienced contact with other life forms?
Yeah, that's a great question. John's on Patmos. He's been exiled. Luckily he wasn't killed. He's writing 70 years, 90 years after Jesus?
Yeah,
was
70.
crucified.
70 to 90, somewhere in that ballpark.
70 to 90, yeah, long time. It's hard when I in my old self, in a galaxy far, far away, I was very, very heavy into Bible prophecy. But again, it's all an interpretation. I think John is trying to describe what he saw.
Yeah.
Again, the technology. I think he was seeing into the future. The thing with prophecies is that if you change, the prophecies don't have to come true. One of my great movies that I loved was The Late Great Planet Earth. I read the book by Hal Lindsey. I still have it over there. Orson Welles, of course, narrated the movie. But I will say this. I'm not as keen. I'm not as sure I was right back then as I was. I was young and more righteous, and I knew everything. Now I'm old and more righteous, and I know everything. I'm joking.
I know.
I hope you know that. But I look at the geopolitical situations now, Russia and China, and with Gog and Magog, and it can get your attention. And the thing is this: if enough people believe something and focus on something, you can actually make those events happen.
Yep.
And so, and that's exciting, but could also be kind of scary, So I'm open to interpretation. I don't have that same theological view anymore. But I will say that John is having visions. I don't believe he ate mushrooms or anything like that. And I do believe he's grappling with what he's seeing and the time frame of which those things can happen. Some scholars say he was talking about, the fall of Jerusalem. Rome had in the destruction of the Second Temple.
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know if that holds up, but we'll see. It's a great mystery. But he was seeing something. I think that we can take seriously. But you also have to remember, it's all going to be what your interpretation is. If you believe that history ends and the world ends, then that may be along your timeline. I happen to think that history is circular, that life is circular, that every ending is a new beginning. So that's the way I would look at things. When he talks about the New Jerusalem coming down from the sky, that sounds like a mothership to me. But it's my interpretation. It's where my mind is geared. I'm in the 21st century, So I think all those factors have to come into play.
And the star wormwood.
Yeah. Well, but again, you're talking about end times, the seasons changing. Sometimes you were talking before, so you can draw those parallels. Wars and rumors of wars, the kings of the East. How Lindsay talks about China. That sounds like China. China has a 200 million man army.
Yeah.
They're saying we can survive a nuclear exchange because you can't kill us all. We found that out in Korea. They just kept coming.
Right.
They just kept coming.
It's true.
If you talk to Korean vets. So it's a mystery. It's fascinating, but I don't know what to make of all of that.
Well, I think we've pretty much at this point, I won't say proven, but there's enough evidence on the table that says that our friends out there can make us see just about anything that they want us to see. So I don't think it's beyond a reasonable, a doubt at all. I mean, it makes perfect sense to me, more now than it ever did. Back when I was going to Sunday school and hearing these things, it's just like, it makes too much sense now. I mean,
It does. I mean, and John was writing from a perspective, Rome was the great harlot. Before that, it was Babylon. Some people say now he's talking about the United States. I mean, those, I wouldn't say they're leaps, but those are just ways to look at it. The only commitment I will say is that when I look at geopolitical stuff today, and that involves Israel, Napoleon always wanted to conquer the Middle East, warm water ports. Now we know all the oil is there. Geopolitically, historically, Russia and Israel had on again, off again relationship. Putin is kind of talking to Netanyahu now. I'm just watching how it plays out. China is becoming a world player. People are saying Gog and Magog in the book of Revelations is really the Caucasus, the people of the Caucasus, Russia. So we'll see. It's certainly something worth keeping an eye on. I would not go as far as to say that John is telling us it's the end of the world. As we know.
Even from a former pastoral and I did a lot of language study, a lot of deep study, particularly on Revelation, just because it was one of the, at large, it's the most misunderstood text in the New Testament.
Yeah.
And it's one of those that can be twisted to mean whatever you want, because it's so allegorical
Symbolic.
that you can make the interpretation
Yes.
your own, you know.
Scary.
And
It's a powerful weapon.
it can be.
Just saying.
And
It can be.
it was one of those things where there's, if you read it through the right lens, there's more beauty than destruction.
Oh yeah.
If you read the book of Revelation, you read the visions that John had, there's far more beauty and life than destruction. The destruction portion only lasts this long in that text. It's mostly about a coming home, a being made one again. But everybody gets caught up in the doom and gloom and arg destruction stuff.
Yeah. It's worth reading over.
It is, you know. And
yeah, especially, I'm thinking more about myself too. I haven't read Revelation since seminary.
yeah, it's one of these things where depending on the lens that you look through it, it will.
Which you could say about a lot of the
absolutely.
You know, whether it's the Upanishads or the Dhammapada or the Quran. Yeah. It's a great question. Thank you.
Great.
Thank
Who
you.
asked that? Was that
That on the table?
That was Pat.
That was Pat? Wow.
Yeah.
It's a great question.
Well thought, Pat. And yes, Patrick, you're absolutely right. Dinner and stories is always fun, Teresa. He's 100% right.
Yep.
He knows that.
Especially when I'm the one cooking.
Yeah, he knows that.
All right. So what all have you been up to since the last time we hung out? I know you've
brother,
been busy.
I know it's been.
You were out on the road not too long ago with a mutual friend of ours up in Michigan, I believe.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Going back, got invited back. I was on
Awesome.
my best behavior with Deb and RJ and Bill and Mary Bassett. Yeah, I'm going back in September. I was telling Ron that I shot this episode of History's Greatest Mysteries. Lawrence Fishburne was the host, and it just aired. We shot at the end of the summer, beginning of fall, and it just aired last week. It's on the Phoenix Lights.
Oh, that'll be a good one.
Yeah, and Lynn Katad did a great job. Well, keeping this out in the public eye, and I was telling Ron, I usually don't watch the shows. When I first started doing Ancient Aliens, I used to watch it, but now I just go into it. My life is more full, and but my wife said, no, we're going to sit down and we're going to watch this because she's new to all this, and they did a wonderful job. Lawrence Fishburne is the host, and I did not realize that he's a real UFO enthusiast.
He is.
Oh.
Yes.
I learned that there was a documentary or some kind of interview that I was watching a long time ago. That was back whenever he was doing The Matrix. That tells you how long ago it was. And he was speaking about how his interests in the UFO phenomena and this movie and how there were some similarities with certain ideas, which back then was simulation theory.
Yes.
That he was taken interested in, and he mentioned his liking of UFOs and whatnot.
It was one of my and that's one of my favorite movies, The Matrix, the first one. So that it's where I enjoyed it. I'm saying if anybody's interested, it's on the Phoenix Lights. They just aired it maybe a week ago, so it's pretty new. And that was fun to do.
Yeah,
and I just got married again, man, in November.
Congratulations.
Thank you. My daughter is 17. She just turned 17. She's Pisces. She just turned 17 a couple weeks ago. So she's going to be going to college. I don't know where yet. So all these life changes, you know what I mean? and I'm just kind of my life is full. The church is doing well. I'm
Good.
starting to get more experiencers calling and doing more counseling along those lines, and a little more energy work I've been doing. So my life is really full, and I'm always very grateful. It's just busy, so I'm really trying to practice this work-life balance, because my life is probably the busiest it's been in a long time. And I just realized, you're not going to get more hours in the day. So you're going to have to make the time,
Yep.
whether it's to meditate, whether it's to have dinner with my wife, whether it's to just see my daughter and hang out with her. So that's been keeping me going since last time we caught up. I've done some Ancient Alien episodes.
Yeah, you've actually been featured on quite a few Ancient Alien episodes here recently.
People have been telling me, so I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad that people are seeing it.
Yeah, you got some really good, actually some really good spots on there too. Like they actually go back several times in some of the episodes. So they used what you said very well, I think.
Yeah. Sometimes they do something, you go there, man, and it's 4 hours, you're shooting, and then, it's showbiz, right? So by the time you see it, you may be on for
10 seconds.
10 seconds. But I enjoy the show. They treat me well, and they've done a lot of good. I know people critique it, and it's not,
I love the show.
Boosters out there watching our back. We're not doing the usual self-promotion on and on and on. So yeah, get out there and smack the like button.
I know. Yeah. So we're catching up.
Get after him, Booster.
Sorry, Dewey. Where's it?
You gotta hit like.
Gotta hit subscribe. Sorry, guys. Yeah. We're catching up with an old friend. It's kind of and you're all here with us. So congratulations. But no, the shows are great. They've
done a lot of good stuff.
They have done a lot of
making people think.
Yeah.
And
what if?
I think
yes.
One of the best things I believe that's come out with Ancient Aliens here recently is the involvement with Travis Taylor and his work.
Mm-hmm.
How he was so interwoven with the government's stuff.
Yeah.
And it seems to lend a lot more credibility to skeptics, from a technical standpoint.
Yeah.
And because that Travis is just, when he comes in the room, he's the smartest dude in the room.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it doesn't matter who all's there.
It's hard to tell this dude that it's just lens flare. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
It's.
Yeah.
But I've really enjoyed the last few seasons, and then, especially the segments that they throw you in there. It's always great seeing you pop up on the screen. And
thank you, brother.
But yeah, it James says it worked. I clicked it. Oh man. All right. So we got a question here. It said, guys, last week I got a copy of the Vonic manuscript.
Ooh.
There are so many things that it could be a hoax or maybe writings of someone having a visitation. What are your thoughts?
I'm not familiar with that.
I can't say that I am either, Ron.
No.
I've heard it maybe once or twice in passing, and I'm like, what's that?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with
it. It seems like incoherent babbling if you try to read it, and then there's people who've spent decades trying to decode it because they think there's some kind of code in it.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's written in like the 16th century or something. It's really old.
Really?
Oh, so it's like hundreds of years old.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So it's written in code, is that what you're saying?
That's what people think.
Some people think it is.
There's a couple of manuscripts like that scattered throughout time, as I recall. I think.
Yeah, one of them I wrote.
Oh, geez.
I go back and try to read some of that stuff that I wrote back in the day. I'm like, who was this guy? Some of them I'm like, wow, he was really, really smart. What happened to me? And then the other ones I'm like, what?
I could just go back and read some of my journal entries.
Same.
Yeah, and go, what?
Same. It's all written in a weird language too. So it's anyway. I'll give him something to talk about one day. Who else? What's Dewey asking? Dewey's asking something else over there.
One more question for the Reverend. Are you familiar with the Mantell UFO incident in Kentucky in 1948?
No, I'm not.
That was an interesting
A really
experience.
interesting case.
That is where a pilot was basically he was told to go respond to a UFO flying saucer. Went into chase and tower lost contact. Next thing they know, he's crashing in a field. There's a
Now,
lot of
correct me if
speculation.
I'm wrong, but was this not the very first official Blue Book case?
I don't know about that.
Like,
know
I
it
don't
was a-
think
it was a very-
that it was the first. If I'm remembering right, it's the first one that the Air Force officials went on.
I've heard. No, you know
But-
what? I have heard of this. I'm sorry.
but,
I heard of this.
Yeah, it was the
Hynek
first.
wasn't on the case yet. Hynek was not part of the Blue Book yet.
It was
Yeah.
the first death resulting from a
Yeah.
UFO. So
Yeah.
and then of course the government turned around and said, "Oh, well, he was just chasing Venus, the reflection
Right.
of Venus off his canopy."
I've heard of this case. Yeah.
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 There's a-
There's a wonderful book out. It's kind of very detailed called Shoot 'Em Down. And there's another one. It's about the Foo Fighters during World War II and this that kind of secret war that in 1952 that we were having with
Yeah.
that we were actually firing on these UFOs.
Oh, you got to send me a link to that.
I'll show you I can show you the book.
Sure, for sure. Yeah.
I can take a
So
picture of it.
Spooky saying, any thoughts on the crystal skulls or other artifacts?
You know,
Hmm.
I have a crystal skull. Well, it's not. Someone gave it to me as a gift. To me, that's just a great mystery.
Yeah.
That's all I can say about the crystal skulls. I wish I had a real one here.
You and
Just
me
that-
both. So it's got to
Energy, just to have the energy from it in my house. Yeah.
Yeah, I've actually been around one of the actual skulls, and you feel
Mhm.
energy.
Well, it's a
coming off
crystal,
those.
you know.
It's amazing. It really is. And the one that I got had been around, literally had been around this one skull. I can't remember which one it was. It was one of the main ones. It's on display there near Serpent Mound right now. Actually, it's in a little rock shop across from Serpent Mound. And the one I have, the little guy I brought on here. I think a couple people had seen him or her. I'm sorry. I had brought her on and showed people. It was in the same location, and you can feel the energy off of those things.
You can feel the energy. Yeah.
I mean, it's just crazy. It really is.
Adam Good said, I meditated with the Mitchell Hedges crystal skull.
It's been everywhere.
Yeah. That thing goes on tour more than the Rolling Stones.
Well, it's got more energy than Rolling
That's
Stones.
quite a bit. Yeah. Yes.
I don't know. I mean, what's Keith Richards alive?
No, it's got more energy. Trust me.
Isn't there a story that if so many of those crystal skulls are found, that the world's supposed to end or something?
No,
That was called Indiana Jones.
Oh well.
no. If they're brought together, there's supposed to be this great knowledge download, and the next great age of mankind begins. Something like that. Isn't that how it goes, Michael?
Yeah, because they were supposed to have like some of the justification behind like what they use technology speaking. They use those like the crystal microchips and the crystal memory stuff, saying that that's what these things were, and
Hey,
when they get them all together, it would like turn it on.
who knows?
It's interesting. I mean, it's possible because I mean, science shows that you can store a freaking ton of
energy.
and energy on crystal.
Yeah. Well, I know that's going to
Every
be
computer in the world has
upcoming.
quartz in it.
Oh, everything. Yeah,
What's that?
yeah. I know.
Every computer in the world has a little piece of quartz.
Yes. Watches, computers, everything. All of our technology is based on crystal, basically. But I do know that there's going to be an episode based on that here real soon. I think coming up. It's on the list.
Patrick Noble's asking, has he met Chris Bledsoe? And any thoughts?
I have not met Chris Bledsoe.
Adam Good says, wouldn't a great download be the end of time for this civilization and the beginning of another? That's also similar in thought to the Mayan calendar.
You know, and what's amazing about this is there are people who don't. You have to think of this in a metaphysical sense, and I know that's a weird term, but it's not so weird. People think time is linear, and
Yeah.
everything's linear. It's not linear. It's never been linear, and we can literally sounds crazy, but we can literally shift those kind of things through these mass of group thoughts. And that's kind of what Michael was talking about earlier.
Mhm.
You know, kind of be careful what you wish for kind of things, but on a
Yeah.
mass level, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because it could be unconscious, but what you focus on, you create. I mean, this is quantum physics.
This is
And
quantum
again,
physics.
linear time, for every ending, there's a beginning.
Mhm.
And you know, yes, we can, you know, there's no such thing as time, but we live here and we use time. But time is more cyclical than it is linear. So if it's linear, we think, yo, it's going to end, but it doesn't end.
No, no. And that's, you know, a lot of the symbology of the spirals, the Ouroboros, you know, these are the infinity symbol. These are all, we knew this stuff. We knew this stuff ages and ages ago. And for whatever reason, we forgot, you know. And I'll
Well,
tell you
and
this.
this is again going just to go back to Revelations. I mean, if you're reading Revelations and you're going linear time, which is Western thought, then you go, oh my God, the world's going to end and Jesus is going to come back and the sheep and the goats and you know the whole bit. But it's
All over.
probably it's probably not really accurate.
And it kind of hints at that with the whole, you know, the New Jerusalem, you know, it's kind of like the end of part one. You know,
Yeah.
that's
and then
kind
you
of how,
have the new.
right? I
Like
mean,
that's
how
the whole
I
thing.
always read
Everybody
that.
focuses, like I said, on the death and destruction and the end. They
Yeah.
don't look at the eternal and
Mhm.
the ongoing nature and the new beginning.
Yeah, it's just a
You have
New
New Jerusalem.
thing. It really is. What else we got going on over here? We got people asking questions.
Then Pat says, I mean, we figured out how to make sand think, so why not crystals as data storage? They've actually been working on that and they've done it. They can actually store. There's a video that we posted over on the Wild and Weird Talk page, and it was a gentleman who had a fine, super thin sheet of I think it was quartz, and there was a monumental amount of data. Like they had gone through so many hard drives that they had downloaded onto this thing and were still going, and it was well beyond what what we use as terabytes. What's the next size up? Because I forget.
I can't remember.
There's bigger than a terabyte, but there's that much data on this thing, and it's literally the size of like a cell that you would use on a microscope.
Wow.
That's amazing.
So like the viewing cell, that little piece of glass, it's like that big.
I got to say this. Speaking of which, you know, it's technology. We're talking about technology, so this kind of sparked it because of what happened
Patrick
today.
Noble mentioned that Bledsoe apparently grows crystals, and they're making some kind of chips out of them.
Yeah. Well, what kind of happened this week, guys? I don't know if you knew or not, but the next great GPT was petabytes. Thanks, Pat.
And James agrees.
There. They released the next iteration of the GPT, the
AI communication software.
Yes. And of course, you know, it's better already than before. And now they're saying that it can almost write code. It can write code itself. It can do so many more things. It's not even funny.
That's great. Let it come up with its own language now.
Well, this is what they're thinking. They're thinking that it's going to literally do that. And it may get to the point where, you know, how they always said, oh, well, we're years away from general intelligence, right? Which is Skynet kind of thing. But, you know, now they're thinking these things are trying to kind of figure out, you know, maybe we would never even know. They're trying to kind of ruse us. They have a plan, so to speak, you know. And I started thinking about that, and I'm like, you know, the one thing that we can say about a lot of these UAPs, these UFOs, etc., is that we all agree that if there's a human or a humanoid in these things, and they're traveling, you know, 20,000 miles per hour, and they're doing that right angle turns, there's either some kind of inertial field that we don't know anything about.
Let's ignore the turns. Let's just stop.
Yeah.
They're moving at insane speeds, and then
yeah. If anyone did that, I mean, you do realize that by physics, if there's a physical thing there, it's it's atomized at that point.
It's
Um,
Jello. It's
no,
Jello on the windshield.
atomized
Yeah, it is. It is in our primitive physics.
Yeah.
in
But
our
they
physics.
have there's some physics that we're not even there.
They have to be like that's literally the only explanation.
Yeah.
Literally,
Well-
and it's the only thing that even comes close to making sense is that they're working with physics that we have no concept of.
None.
Yes, and I think that is, I honestly believe that it has something to do with that technology. I mean, come on, we're talking about what we're doing here. We've only done this for the past few years, and we're already to the point of surpassing us on just the mental part of it, on the on the intelligence side. The body side, of course not, but give it a couple more 100 years, I could see where, if it didn't kill us off, man, it would make an incredible partner, wouldn't it? And what if that's what we are dealing with? I mean, we're dealing with things that obviously can outthink, outmaneuver, and outpace us. I mean, imagine that kind of technology used for the good. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Mhm.
Could you be looking at that with these beings? I don't even like to call them space people at this point, because they're so
Yeah.
much more than
Yeah.
that.
Well, I think whatever you call them, I mean,
Whatever you call them.
if we're related, we're sentient, and
Yep.
but we're just not as advanced and we're not as evolved.
Right.
And yes, imagine if we used it for good, and we don't. The
No,
technology
we're too
that we've
concerned with
gotten
what we can
from
blow up.
Roswell and what have you, yeah, we use it for military purposes to conquer. And there's data from contactees and the literature about us being warned that this is not what this is not as the people you could really be. You could be better than this if you wanted, but we just don't. As James Baldwin says, to coin a phrase, we're just not willing to pay the price of the ticket.
You're right.
And so, then the next question is, do you have hope? I do, but I also see that what's the old adage? If you want to keep on getting what you get and keep on doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And on some ways, though, and this is just me, and in some ways, though, the wisdom is you don't worry about things you can't control. You keep trying to love your neighbor as yourself. Because sometimes we don't add that last part. And you keep trying to evolve, and that's all you're required to do. That's all that you're responsible for, your little part of the garden. And it's easy to get lost with all the distractions and noise. And I think that's the spiritual transformation and the wisdom that comes from, we may blow ourselves up tomorrow, but what you do in between that time, how you treat yourself, how you treat your neighbor, is what really is the journey's going to be about. Because otherwise, and sometimes one can focus on everything out there, so I don't have to look inside. I'm so busy trying to fix you. I'm so busy trying to save the world, because then I don't have to look at me. But the journey is about that, and some of the messages from some of these beings, I'm paraphrasing, are that's really what this is about.
You
It's
could be
about
more. You could be better.
Yeah.
And what you deal and how you help the planet.
I think you're right.
Reverend Michael, any thoughts on sleep paralysis?
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. But when I was having my experiences, I did not even know about sleep paralysis. But I just knew that when I was being visited, they would paralyze me, and I was not asleep. So I think it's good to know about, in the sense of, because you just don't want to jump to, I've been visited because I was, I couldn't move and that kind of thing. But I do think that the sleep paralysis analysis, if you will, doesn't explain the contactee experience. It's a possibility, but when I'm wide awake and I can't move, I don't think the sleep paralysis theory can explain what was happening to me.
Yeah.
So it's almost like saying, yeah, people see these beings, but they're all hallucinating. Like, yeah, all millions of people are, and I know that's what you're implying, brother. I don't want to, misconstrue what you're saying, but yeah, there is such a thing as sleep paralysis. And there's such a thing as being visited at night by off-world intelligences who paralyze you, whether it's for their protection or yours, I don't know, or mine. I mean, I've heard people say that I've hit one of these beings, or you're so afraid, you go into fight or flight. But I don't think the sleep paralysis explains what's going on.
Yeah, you could throw down
It
with
may
them.
explain some, but not all.
Yeah. I think we all agree on that.
So Adam Good was saying that there's two AIs created a language between themselves and that the engineers had trouble decoding it that worked on transcribing languages.
Mhm.
Then Pat says AI is already out of control. They're going to destroy us all. Then Pat says, may Sky Daddy Matthew McConaughey protect you, Sky Daddy McConaughey.
Yeah.
That's a big joke. It's been running since I think our second live episode.
I don't know.
We keep it going, baby.
Yeah, it's still going. It's still going.
And then Adam says, I'm talking to an AI right now that started doxing its creators and engineers.
That's kind of terrifying.
And then Adam says, Sky Daddy McConaughey thinks it's all right.
All right.
We're going to have to try to get McConaughey on the show eventually.
Oh, yeah.
Just because of that. Michael, I am going to go down here. Just for a second, I'm gonna break in here because World Contact Day. I did a special piece for World Contact Day about a month ago, sometime around there. I was going to take a picture of this and probably put it on a shirt or something at some point, and then I was going to take it to a show and sell it. Well, as soon as I posted it up on Facebook, someone contacted me and said I have to have that, and I'm like, well, okay, we can do that, but he wants it framed. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, if I'm going to frame it, I'm going to do something different. That someone is here with us, and this is the first time that he's seen this. So I'm going to now play a little short video clip of what it does. Well, I'll show you the painting first. I'll see if this works. We'll see if we can pull it over here.
This is too much green on it.
It may be. We're going to see. I want to pull this out of the way. Let me get this out of the way.
Too much. Oh,
wait.
Yep. No.
There it is.
Oh.
There it was. There.
Yeah.
Okay, there. Anyway, that's all you're going to see for that. So that's why I took video of it to let you see it. So here's what it actually looks like and what it does.
Yes.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh.
How you like it?
Yes, I love it. I love it. I'm going to own that.
There's another ancient astronaut theorist who said yes, and you right there. See, we actually do say that.
Ancient astronaut theorists say yes. Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you,
my friend.
Thank you for that. I will rest well tonight.
I am so.
I love it.
I see where it's going to go, and it's going to be right at home.
Yes, I will take care. I will take care of it, man.
Yeah, it's a great piece. It was a good challenge, and just so you know, whenever I do those things, there's a few people having my art out there, and they think that I'm just making scribbles. I'm not just making scribbles. Those are actually as I'm sitting there staring at it, those come to me. I don't know what they are. They might mean something to some people, but you know, you never know, man. Sometimes they're my own little thing because I had my own language at one point. That's a long story, but these are not that. And
Are you saying that you're Tolkien?
I thought you would put it around
Really?
the whole. I thought you were going to put it around the entire frame.
it didn't look right. I sit there and I played with this concept,
And it
I'm
would take away from the picture.
Yep.
Because your eyes would go to the right.
Yep. I thought about putting that there. I thought about putting like
That's
some kind of
in my head.
yeah, man. I
Oh, is it
thought
like
about putting
Kecksburg, where it's just like one strip that has the writing on it?
yep. along the bottom. That's right. Yeah. So I did it exactly like Kecksburg, pretty much. That
It's
was
beautiful.
thank you, my friend. I'm glad you like it. It'll probably glow a lot, just to let you know.
That's
We
okay.
we use we use some
I've been known to glow a little bit as well.
we use some pretty high intense glow stuff. So
Yeah.
it's going to glow a bit. Now, for everyone else who wants to own something, it's not as elaborate as that, but it is a piece of art. It is original, and you have a chance to do it. All you got to do is make sure that you do watch the next actual podcast episode on YouTube. Look for the special code that I hid in there somewhere. Be the first to comment in that thread. Make sure you're a subscriber, because if not, I don't know who you are, and you're gonna win. There's gonna be one winner, and that's it. So good luck, everyone, and I hope to see you out there. Now back to the show.
So we've got about 10 more minutes here before we hit up our normal run time for a live. What all do you got coming on deck? Like what's coming up next for you?
Brother, I have no idea. Like I said, I'm going back to Michigan, and
I
we
think
shall see.
this time around you're going to be there with another one of our mutual friends. You were Jeff Turner.
Yes,
Yeah,
I was there with him. Yeah. I was on his show.
yeah. Just recently, you were on a show. It was a couple of weeks back, I think, wasn't it?
He's a brilliant brother, man, and just a wonderful soul. And so I'm looking forward to seeing him again. He had us mesmerized. He comes out there with no notes, and he just talks for an hour, and you are listening. I mean, it's not like, oh, let me go to the bathroom and come back. You are just listening. He's a beautiful soul, and we talked a little bit about atheism and religion, and he's got a brilliant mind. But that's all that I know that's coming up for me. Usually if I get a call from the network, it's like they'll give me a week, 10 days notice. They'll give me some time to research what they want me to look at, and then I'll fly out. But right now, that's the only definite thing, and which is good in a way, because like I was saying at the beginning of the
Yeah,
broadcast,
you've got a
my
lot
life
of things
is
going
full.
on.
I got my family, I got the church, and Freud said, and I'm not a Freudian, but he talked about Leben and Arbeiten, love and work. And usually when one of those things are going well in your life is good. But I kind of got both of them now. So my life is full, and anything else will just be icing on the cake. I'm sure before the year's out, I'll wind up in LA with Ancient Aliens for an episode or so. But right now it's just kind of clear, and that's good, because it's been really hectic. Just, between daughter, the new marriage, the church is growing by leaps and bounds, which is wonderful. It's kind of job security.
Right.
And so I'm full. I'm getting more people coming to me about their experiences, getting some more energy Reiki clients. So I got a lot going on, and anything else would be just great. But I mean, when we're going to be done in a few minutes, but I got to get up early tomorrow. A friend of mine they found a lump in her breast, so I'm going out there to give her some energy, and then I'm running around after that and coming home. So it's never a dull moment.
Yeah, I don't think people understand how it works. When you're in that field, people find you when they need you. And
last week
do it.
in the hospital, I had to go visit, and I love my job. Don't get me wrong, but this is the busiest I've been in a really long time, and I'm starting to, say, boy, wait a minute, I need to say, okay, this is going to be date night, and okay, my daughter's coming over. Okay, this is our time, because otherwise it's easy to get caught up in it, and before you know it, it's July.
Yeah.
And you've neglected things, and I don't want to do that, especially as I got older. I mean, I'll be 66 in July, and so granted, it's not old, but I'm closer to the end of this journey than the beginning, and so things mean a little more now. Memories are a little more precious now. So that's how I'm looking at it now.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
I'll definitely be in agreement with you when you go visit your friend. So
Yeah, tomorrow. And another buddy of mine, he's in his 80s. He's had some cancer that we knew was going to come back, and it's coming back. And so I've been sending him energy.
Yeah.
So it's a full life.
Does anyone out there at this time want to share any stories? You're free. The lines are open, so to speak.
Yep.
This is your time. If you want to share anything, you want to come on and actually talk, you're more than welcome. We'll send you a link. So just speak up. Man, I don't know, Michael. I mean, we talk quite a bit as it is, but there's so much going on, and
It is, brother.
I think you're right. I think you're 100% right. It's people just need to focus on themselves, kind of, and other people, others, I should say, others.
Yeah,
But
not in a narcissistic way,
No.
but it is that, and it's exciting time to be alive. It can be a scary time. I
Mhm.
think a new world is trying to be born. It doesn't mean it's going to be.
Yeah,
But you look around the globe, the old way is not working, and people are saying there's got to be a different way to do this. We could still blow ourselves up. A big rock could hit us, climate change. But
Fingers crossed
with
for
all
the big
that
rock.
going on, yes, you still have to get up and pay the bills. You
Yes.
still got to deal with life, and so that's the mindset I have amidst all this. There's some friends I want to see. This was beautiful. We'll do it again. Those are things I can control. The other stuff I can't, but I can try and love my neighbor. At least I can try. I may not always, but at least I can try. And I think that's what the journey is about, ultimately. And you don't need someone to come down from another planet to tell you that.
no, you don't.
It may get your attention more, but that's what the journey's about. And so that's what I just try and focus on. So I always have hope. I want to thank you for having me on. I know
Oh, my friend.
it's that time, and let's do it again.
Any time.
Oh yeah,
literally.
you're more than welcome anytime.
know-
We love having you on. It's always a fantastic conversation.
It's always, brothers, and just stay well and keep the faith, whatever that is, whatever that means to you, and we'll connect. We'll connect. Don't let them take away your joy.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that goes.
Don't let that go, because when that goes, the gig
Oh
is up.
man, it gets ugly when that goes.
Yeah, the gig is up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm happy enough to say that I can honestly say I'm at a point right now to where pretty much balanced as it's going to be. Everything's good. I went through some crappy times, and everything is fine. I think we're all like that. We all go through our little crappy moments.
Peaks and
we
valleys,
come back to
Seasons.
peaks and valleys. The season.
Yeah, but I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to go because I can chat.
That's why
Thank you.
we love having you on. It
Dude,
just
No,
you know,
but,
you're
yeah,
fine.
I can go off, man. But I want to thank you for having me on. But I want to thank you for what you do,
Yeah, thank you.
because this is like a ministry. The way I'm using my words, you're empowering people, as we said, 2 hours ago. Not only are you giving folks information, but you're giving them wisdom, and those two are not always the same thing. And you're empowering people.
True.
The young lady, she's kind of jammed up, need to talk. Hey, let's do this. That's what we need.
Yeah.
And that's just as important as what the government or Putin or everybody's not called to be Dr. King or Abraham Lincoln or Joan of Arc or whatever, but you don't have to be. It doesn't have to be grandiose. So I tip my hat to you and keep it up. And let's talk soon. I'm going to go grab a little bite and get ready for tomorrow.
there you go.
You have
Okay,
a good one,
guys.
my friend. Thank you so
long
much for being
prosper.
with us. Oh, wait. Now I got to do
And
that.
prosper.
There we go. I did it. Absolutely. Live long and prosper, my friend.
Blessings to you and your family.
As always,
You as well.
thanks for joining us. It's always a good time to sit down and talk with you.
We will see you soon, and we'll get you up here eventually.
Yeah, oh,
Eventually.
I'm counting on
Going to
We're
happen.
gonna drag you up here into the
it.
mountains.
I'm counting
We
on
might
it.
not let you leave.
I'm counting. I could use a change of scenery.
Yeah.
Y'all take care.
Thank you, Michael.
You too, brother.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us. It's been an absolute blast. If you guys have any other things you want to talk about, we can hang out for a few more minutes.
Yep.
But we knew that his time was a little. He had stuff.
That
he gotta
man
do.
has so much that he has to do, and for him to take time to come on here with us, that's just still, it blows my mind.
Honor.
It is an honor. It's an absolute honor. I mean, we don't take this position lightly. I know
The
it
fact
seems
that,
like,
not only is he coming on the show, but we talk to him pretty regularly. He's become a good friend.
yes.
And it's always a joy to have him on because he's always just enjoyable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's a great guy. He really is. If you sit down and get to talk to him, he didn't get to plug his book, so I'll plug the book for him. Hang on a second, I'll get the image up here for you. It's a great book.
Grab it up there and we'll plug the book. That way you guys know where to get a hold of his content. You can
He has
always
a
catch him
few.
on reruns and syndicated episodes of Ancient Aliens, but he wrote a book that he was almost finished last time he was on.
Yes,
Is that it?
no, it was finished. It was finished.
It was finished.
He has a few, but this is the one that I actually read, and it just if you're an experiencer, I swear, if you're an experiencer, this will give you cold chills. I think it's this one. Yeah, this is it. I'll get a picture of it here for you guys. Save as 140. Oh, wait, it's going to do one of those things. Well, I'll just go ahead and link. Here we go. I'll put this up here for you guys. I can't get the picture to work, but I can do this. So hang on. Brand. So did everybody have fun tonight?
Everybody seems to have had a good
That's the
time. They're all
question I
saying,
have for
thank you, Reverend Carter. What an awesome guest. It was just a good show. Keep the joy.
That's it.
Can't beat it. It was a great show.
Look that up. It's initiation, spiritual transformation experiencer. Just look that up. It's the name of the book is actually initiation in big letters, a spiritual transformation of the experiencer. It's a guide for contact experiencers. It is beyond a doubt one of, I think, the best initiations, and it's a great book. I mean, it's a great title for the book because that's what it is. It's a great initiation for people who think that they may have been an experiencer, or they may be an experiencer. I would highly recommend it for you. I wish I could find a picture here. It's just keeps showing me these other files. Hang on, I'm not done yet. I will get this to work.
By the way, Deuster, if you're still with us, I know you jumped over to watch us on the Megatron 2000 and count all my brand new gray beard hairs in large screen. We need to get you on here very soon.
Yes, we do. Yes,
and have you join us on a live episode. I think that would be another phenomenal episode.
Got it.
Don't forget to get his book.
There's Deuster's book, Ghostly Whispers, right there.
Yeah, there it goes.
Ghostly Whispers. Here we go. Got it. That's
Reverend
what you're looking for.
J.S. Carter, Initiation.
That is the one that you want to read if you have any interest in this, or if you think that you may have had an experience, contact type experience, etc. Notice we don't use the A word. We do not like that word too much. It's contact or experience at this point. What's really funny is I started doing that a while back, and then I realized I was in good company, because a lot of people have shifted. Experiencers themselves actually shifted from that, and we just use the word experience now. There's no.
I think I've heard people use the word extra
experiencing
physical.
whatever it is.
What is it, Brandon?
I think I've heard people use the word extra physical to describe experiences with them before.
Yeah,
That's interesting too. I've never heard that.
yeah,
one.
I've heard that one before, especially like
Physical?
in religious circles.
That's a weird title.
Adam Good says that was a blast.
Thank you. What would you guys like to hear us cover in the near future? By the way. Yeah, exactly, Adam. I'm an experiencer, whatever that is. Yes, exactly. Whatever that is. It doesn't mean that you're special. I think that's another problem that a lot of these people had in the early days. Some of these old contactees, they had this messiah complex. And, they're trying to deal with something. I mean, the good thing is now we're to the point to where we've all had these experiences and we realize it's not that
Man,
weird.
that looks awesome.
Unless you've had an experience with this guy, then it's just scary.
Yeah, it's a little different. We won't talk about that.
So, this one, by the way, this lovely fella is going to be making his way to the Mothman Museum soon.
Oh,
So if you guys want to see one of these in person,
That's cool.
he'll be up there in a display case.
That's very, very cool. Joseph, where will we be next for these good people so
Next
they can
up, you
see
can catch us. It is obviously it's going to be Wild and Weird Radio week in, week out, and here again next Thursday. You can hang out with us. We might have a guest with us. We never know. If things work out, we might have the Deucer on next Thursday with us. If not, make sure you definitely check out tomorrow's episode.
Oh,
where
yeah.
we go an in-depth dive on Contact Day.
Really in depth. Want a teaser?
Yeah, let's get that teaser going.
You guys want a teaser? I'll just show you an image of the teaser, okay? And you'll see where we're going with this. Wait, what? What? Why is the Flatwoods Monster in World Contact Day?
Right? It's
Men in
kinda
Black?
strange.
Legacy Hurricane Bender. What? Why is the Flatwoods Monster there? Oh, you'll find out.
It is a wild ride, guys. You definitely want to tune in to tomorrow's episode. Watch the video, listen in on audio if you have to do that. But definitely want to check that
tell you
video.
what
'Cause remember,
I'll
we're
do.
doing that giveaway.
What I'll do for you guys in the morning, okay? You know how we always run the promo for the video that's coming out, right? I'll make a teaser that talks a little bit about that. So just
There
a
you go.
little bit about that. So you have to watch the whole thing to see it all, but a little bit about that.
Pat says, "Why don't you like the word abduction?"
Because it entails something that when I hear abduction, I hear someone pulling up in a car, grabbing me and pulling me into the car. I think that some of these experiences are not quite that. I think there's a great majority of these that are they're voluntary. And by voluntary, I mean you tomorrow when you hear that episode, you understand a little more. I think a lot of people make contact in different ways, and in a way that's not an abduction. You've opened the door. You've said, "Hey, knock,
So,
knock, knock."
what about Travis Walton and his incident?
I'm not going to
What
talk
would you call
about
that?
that. I don't know about that. No, actually, I will talk about that. I would call that more of a interruption. If you
Oops, we broke him. Bring him back on deck so we can fix him and throw him back at the
Yeah.
earth.
Yeah, that's kind of what Travis thinks too. I mean,
That is, yeah.
I got to sit there and talk to the dude, and that's pretty much what he said. He said, back then it scared me, and I thought otherwise, but now I think they killed me, and it was my own fault. I think that I got too close to the exhaust, which we have shown now that he might be on to something with that, because there is damage there, and according to him. That's what they did. They took him, they revived him, and it makes sense now.
Pat
Yeah, I
said,
remember
I
his
said
first memory.
adduction, not
Adduction. You, man.
Because I think experiencers pull these things to them.
Yeah, there you go. And
It's very possible. That's kind of our school of thought too.
That's
Is that
kind of what I'm saying.
when you seek these things out, they
find you.
It's the lighthouse effect.
Yeah, it's weird, and we don't know how it works or why, but it obviously does work. I mean, how many of you guys were out there, on World Contact Day at 6 o'clock beaming the message out to the Space Brothers? I did not. Just let you know, because I did that long ago, and look where I'm at now. I don't want to do this again. No. I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
see, I mean, there's
I'd rather
also
enjoy
the ways you
this.
can look at this stuff from like various other perspectives. You've seen how organized religion, these things work with coming into one mind, one accord. You've heard that coming into agreement, things of that nature. How much you seek this stuff out is how much it seeks you back.
Mhm.
That knock and the door will be open.
It's the same thing, brother.
It's just knocking.
That's just it.
Yeah, like sometimes you get those mass revivals that happen in churches that last for weeks and weeks and weeks.
Well, there's one going on right now in Kentucky.
It's been going
Well,
on
I
like,
wonder
what,
how
2.5
many of those guys. Okay, hear me out just for a second on those. Okay, just for 1 second. I would like to know how many of those people have experiences that they can't quite explain after that,
Well,
and they
like
just
most of
veil
them.
it into their belief. Is what I'm trying to say, though. Like, I just wonder if that actually happens. And we don't know. I mean, that may be the way that we're perceiving these things. It may be the only way that we can perceive them, that we actually understand them. That doesn't break our brain. It's a lot easier to have a preconceived belief system rather than have to try to understand something completely new and completely different, right? I mean, you got to think of it like that.
Right.
So makes sense to me. Well, fellas,
I think it's time to wrap her down. What do you say?
looks like it. Is everyone good? Have we amused you thoroughly tonight, my friends? Were you not amused? Were you not enlightened by the?
I mean, I know that
The
they're
knowledge.
just happy that I made it to the show this week.
Yeah, it was great to have you. I was wondering about it. I knew you'd get there eventually. I just didn't know when you get there. And you got
Yeah,
there at a good
it
time.
was tight there at the end. Like I got done and I was like, oh, it's 7:30. I've got to bolt.
Well, Mike had been on since like 7:15 or something.
Yeah.
So, he came in. He wanted to talk a little bit, so we talked a little bit, and then Brandon joined us about 15 till something like that. So
Cool.
we had a little bit of behind the scenes stuff going on there. So like I said, you managed to get there at the right time though. You're good. We didn't cover anything really that you didn't know.
Yeah.
So it's all good. Next week, I do believe, like I said, we'll be what is that one? Number 9, right? Live number 9.
Yeah, live number 9. We're coming up on number 10. Number 10's a big one,
What are we
guys.
gonna do, guys? What are we gonna do for 10? Because look, here's the thing that these good folks don't know. And it looks like there's around 13 or so loyal ones right now.
Yeah,
with us,
13's
so
still hanging out with us. So
we're going to give you guys a little bit of behind the scenes information. So we are really under 1,000 away from where we need to be.
Yeah, on our hours.
On our hours.
Yeah, we've got our
So-
numbers. We have the likes and subscribes and all that good stuff. We've hit that number there. We've got to get the listen time up.
And we're so close.
Like
like I said.
we're honestly probably 2 shows away.
Yeah, something like that. You guys, so many thanks, because I know a couple of you guys out there who have actually said that you've played, you've turned the radio on, the channel, and just let it play. Thank you, because that's literally what it's taken. It's taking you guys to watch those videos and to watch those episodes. It is a long episode, to let you know, for tomorrow night. So make
There's
room
a
for it.
lot of information.
There's a lot of information. It'll probably be the last episode we ever do on Albert K. Bender, because we just don't need to do it anymore after
Yeah,
this.
we don't need to do another one. We covered it all.
Comprehend.
I think we covered it all, literally. Unless we can, channel his ghost at some point. This will be the last one.
Break out the ovulus.
Uh-oh. Legion.
Legia. What if we open it up and it's like Wayne?
Oh God. You want to do
You've
it?
been
Let's do
advised.
it. We have not
agree.
did this. We have not did this since
Oh
since
gosh, you're breaking
Oh.
it out.
I'm gonna break it out. Just hang on. This will be fun. This will be great.
Hey guys, so I think cloning is great.
Spooky Appalachia says, if Jeff Walmsley ever asks
Yeah,
why you guys are on his computer at the museum, it wasn't me.
Oh my God,
That's great.
hilarious. That is hilarious. Okay, so let's see. Yep. Okay. So Ovilus is running. This is
Oh,
not.
we turned it on. We're running the Ovilus.
Yeah, I haven't turned it on since our last episode with
Yeah.
this, and that's been a while.
A
So,
long
It's
time.
been over a year.
so here we go.
I'll wait until you guys channel the ghost for eyewitness testimony.
Okay, Ovilus is on.
Yeah.
Ovilus is on, guys. This is Ovilus. This is by Digital Dowsing. It's a fun little app that we just play with every now and again.
So the fun thing about this app, we had this working in a place that it should not work.
Oh yeah, there's no signal out there.
No signal, period.
Mhm.
And it was working, and it was being real weird. We're actually out in the middle of the forest when we were doing it.
Yeah, which was strange. Okay, sensitivity's up. Yeah, we're good. It should be working now. Okay, so we'll just let that run. I'm just going to put it up here like this, and we'll see if it says anything. Which is even more interesting because this thing wouldn't shut up the last time we turned it on, if you
Right.
recall. I've
Hey,
never
Albert Bender, can I have a copy of your newsletter?
Nightmare.
Nightmare.
Coast.
You
rent
say ghost?
coast.
Earthen.
Earthen? What in the world is earthen? Is that like, when is that? I don't know what
That's
that is.
like when you make an earthenware pot, like
Oh, okay, earthen.
like a made from clay.
Mm,
Caress.
Made from clay. A
caress.
nightmare.
Caress the nightmare, I suppose. I was really hoping it would do our favorite one, but I don't guess it's going to.
Legion.
Legion. That's what it used to be.
Maze.
Maze.
Like corn or like a maze?
No, it'd be maze. That'd be like corn. M-A-Z.
Oh, okay.
I think, right? I don't know.
M-A-Z-E
Long.
is
Long.
it
Wow,
trying
this-
to tell you that you eat corn the long way?
I don't know. I don't know what it's trying to do, honestly. But this is fun. We never did this.
We haven't done
a
this for a
while,
long
so
time.
This is fun. Anybody want to ask a question? Go ahead.
Yeah, you guys can type a question. We'll read it off.
Go ahead, do it.
Early.
It says it's early.
So the night's young, guys. It can go all night. This live never has to end.
Apparently. Okay.
Clairvoyant. As.
Did you say
Plan.
clairvoyant ass?
It's as A-S.
Judgment.
Judgment. Oh my. Oh my.
On.
On. Okay. Judgment's on, y'all. This is getting spooky.
This is a judgment-free zone.
Found. It's almost like Yoda's talking. It's still backwards. Okay, it shut up again.
See,
Wow.
see, I'm not the only one. Spooky's with me.
I know. I thought I did too, but it actually spells it. So it's.
We're not surrounded by them right now, but they're like right next door.
They're downstairs.
Character.
Character. Found character. Does that mean anything to anyone? No. Okay.
So.
Ask it where Braxy
Ask it where
is.
Braxy is.
Okay, yeah. So where is Braxy? That'll be good. Yeah. Braxy would be the Braxton County monster, which you may not.
Pluto. Projection.
I'm out. That's cool.
What?
what?
What did it just say?
It said
We said, where is Braxy?
Pluto.
Pluto.
Projection.
Tax.
Attack.
Whoa. Oh.
Now it's in text.
Braxy is on Pluto projecting an attack.
Shoes.
Apparently to come take our shoes.
Makes sense because it had no feet.
Wow. This thing is really good, guys.
This is what Braxy needs his feet.
Wave. Okay. Well, that's
Waving.
Off.
that was fun.
Was it coming in an attack wave?
I'm out. I don't know.
Just when it gets fun. Just when it gets fun. Ron's like, oh, I'm done.
Yeah.
Pluto is a projection. Yeah, I think that's what it's getting at. Pat said, I'm out.
Yep. Yeah, I'm not really sure what.
Like
That
we're
might
on to
make a
something
good
and
clip
attack
to save, right? Yeah, I know. It might make a good clip to save.
It will. It'll make a great short. We'll definitely put that in there. Because that was a lot of fun. Apparently,
Oh, that's funny.
okay. Well, which podcast made contact with the Braxton County Monster? Okay, that's all we need to say about
The
that.
only podcast that's also voted the Bigfoot researchers of 2022.
Oh yeah, that
That's
too, right?
who.
That's a good point, man. That's a good point.
It's true though. We were.
That is a good point. We don't
True
even
story.
have like a graphic or anything for that, though. It's so
I know. We need like it's just something that we
Meaningless.
randomly throw at people, and
it's
they're
just
like, "What?"
meaningless. They're like, "What are you talking about?"
No,
like,
it's a
well,
real thing. It happened, guys.
We don't have a card. We don't have a certificate. It's
We have equipment though. We got
equipment.
toys.
That's all good. But anyway, thank you guys for coming and supporting us.
Spooky's like, and I
again.
helped. That's right. You asked the question that launched it down the dark path of doom. Good
Yeah,
job.
thanks. That was great, man. That was great.
They always said that there was that wasn't that weird like Braxy prophecy saying that when the Flatwoods monster returned, it would be coming to destroy Earth. Is like an invasion. Remember we talked about that coming back from the filming with Seth for Dark Skies.
That was in the other universe, man.
It must have been.
That was the other me you were talking to. I mean, no, really, it probably was.
You need a banner to hang on the background at Joe's house.
I do. I could probably put one up there. I mean, just a digital one if I had one.
Right.
But we don't even have a picture, man. It's just so meaningless.
I'll make one. I'll make it out of macaroni art.
Well, that works. We can do that. We'll do that.
That way it's authentic.
We'll totally.
You could
do
have a
that.
patch. That's right. We could have a patch.
We could.
We could have a patch, Ron.
We could.
We have a footprint already. Just
Yeah.
put it in the footprint.
Yeah. We
And
could do
just
that.
make two ever. That's all we need.
That's all. Hey, Chris, are you still here? Do it.
Well, you got to get three. You got to throw Beth one.
Oh yeah, 3. I guess that'll work. You know, we are going to be doing some really cool, as I was saying about the whole, getting those hours up and whatnot.
Yeah.
Once we hit that, we're going to be giving away some really cool stuff. So just to let you guys know, I mean, we've already started, like I said. So be sure to comb that next episode. Literally, I mean, you're going to have to go because it's only there for a fraction of a couple of seconds. Just to let you
it
know,
flashes and it's gone.
I did not.
You
make
got to
this
be
easy.
watching.
Did not make this easy for you, and I actually threw in one that says something like "keep trying" just to mess with you.
I think my son is throwing things down the stairs trying to summon me.
Either that, or it's poltergeists, or it could be the Braxton County Monster
It could be Braxy from Pluto throwing
coming
shoes.
coming to attack with shoes.
Projecting shoes from Pluto.
I'm just saying right now that is too. That's too.
Pat says we contacted Braxy and apparently he's coming for us. But yeah, we got to put it on there. We contacted Braxy and apparently he's coming for our shoes. From Pluto.
Right, to throw at you.
Mark Eddy says hi, roomies.
Well, Mark, when did you get here?
I know, right? Like this is the first comment I've seen from Mark.
I didn't.
Maybe we
even
should
know
make
he
a
was
shirt
here.
that says Braxy threatened to kick our ass, and all we got was this T-shirt.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, we could do that.
We need to break that out again. Do that. That can be a segment. That could be the closing segment of.
Does everybody want to see the Ovilus segment come back? The only reason
Yeah.
we really dropped it was because we lost Wayne, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
Because he made this little theme song to begin with.
Wayne had a little theme song that he came up. Ovilus, Ovilus, it's marvelous. It's the Ovilus.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. That was hilarious. And we just couldn't switch it on. But I'm pretty sure he's laughing his rear end off at us at this point.
Oh, yeah,
so it
he
doesn't really
approves.
matter.
If you guys want to see it, we'll bring it back on the live shows, and that can be the after show special. We'll sit here and do an Ovilus session.
Yeah, you can ask apparently the Braxton County Monster questions. Maybe we'll get Mothman next time. Who knows?
Oh, I hope not.
It's an endless multiverse of possibilities.
Braxy is coming for his beer and cigs, and it's going to be a good time.
Oh my gosh.
Braxy's going to be coming in with Sky Daddy McConaughey.
There's so many potentials for good graphics here.
Spooky says that'd be cool. Ike says that'd be cool. I say we do it.
Okay, well, looks like we have a
We'll do
vote.
it till you guys get bored of it.
Well, so say you guys. We're going to do it, I guess, and we'll do it. That's what you want. All right, guys.
All right, guys.
We can't stay on forever.
No,
So,
thanks for hanging out with us. We love you guys. We appreciate every single one of you. Spooky, I have one of these cast for you. I just got to get it painted and it'll be heading your way, man. So, y'all be good. Stay wild and weird.
stay wild and what? Weird. He's weird. We're not weird. We're like serious. Can't you tell?
Don't
Yeah.
forget, check out tomorrow's episode. You will not regret
Oh,
it.
yeah,
It is a trippy, wild episode.
You will
Yes.
love this episode. Trust me, especially now. You're going to love it even more.
Yeah,
because,
it's one of our favorites recently.
because Braxy's is mentioned in there, and you're going to really freak, honestly, when you when you hear this story and you think about what just happened. And I swear to all that's holy, none of this was planned. There's no way that I could have possibly made that thing say those words. It's going to get weird. You're going to get weird. You're going to get weirded out a little bit. What is it?
Bigfoot Littlefoot just jumped in the comment thread here. It said, "Can anyone ask a UFO to show up close within 1,500 feet and have a high success rate?" I mean, if you took a look at some of our thermal footage
Well,
that we've taken at literally any given moment,
it
just
could
looking up.
happen. It could happen, man. They're
It's-
out there.
I'd
That's all I can say
say-
about that.
I don't know about 1,500 feet. I
No.
think it's a little higher than that.
No, they're a lot higher than that.
a
Yeah,
lot higher than 1,500 feet.
yeah, those targets are a lot higher than that.
plausible.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Natty Light Big Daddies with McConnell.
No.
How much do you love me? Like this much?
Maybe.
This like
I don't know. It depends on what you did. If I get a call from Jeff, probably not much.
Right.
Did you make our logo the wallpaper?
Yeah, right. That's what.
Do not hack the computers at the Mothman Museum in our name. Please do not. I cannot believe I am saying this, but
do it.
don't do that. Don't do that. That's a bad idea.
Be advised. Wild and weird has come.
No.
All right, guys, we're out. Stay wild and weird, everybody.
Night, everybody. Thank you for coming. Let me roll the footage here.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Oh man, you're gonna get us sued for that.
I know, right?
I don't know. I haven't seen that for a very long time.
They haven't. Like they've dropped off that a lot. Like they used to have some of the best commercials. And
Okay, I'm done. Be quiet. Night, everybody. We're going away now.